Hey, what's up? This is Dillio coming to you with another video, and in this video we're going to show you how to export stems to your favorite DAW software from the MPC software. This is a pretty simple process. I have a beat loaded up right here. Make sure you hit up my website. I got a lot of cool sounds, loops, and samples for you producers out there. Make sure you check it out. All right, so I got a beat here, and if I unsolo the drum track, little throwback sound. All right, so we got that. The problem is that if I go to File and Export and then Audio Mixdown, what you can see is that I can only export the stereo output, which gets you just a stereo rendering of that loop. Or you can have separate programs, or you can explode tracks. And so the problem is that when you're trying to export stems from the MPC software and your drum tracks is on track 10, you see that there's nothing being used. If I scroll up and down right here, if you look right here, if I scroll up and down, all you can see is there's empty tracks on there. We don't really want that because all it's going to do is when you try to explode by track, all you're going to get is the MIDI tracks. So we have to explode all these drums to their own separate MIDI track, and that's very easy to do. When you go to the controller, you hit the pencil icon on there, and maybe I can create a graphic to show you. But you hit the pencil icon, and then you want to select Explode. When you hit Explode, this MIDI channel 10 is muted, but when I go up channels, notice we got separate drum sounds on all of these right there, all the way up to there's no more sounds. With that step being done, now we can export separate tracks of each drum sample along with all the musical programs as well. So it sounds completely the same. So now I hit File, Export, Audio Mixdown, and then I select Explode Tracks right here because we separated those drums into MIDI tracks as well. And just for checks and balances, let's look at all these other tracks on here. The first track is the piano, right? We got another bass line here, and so forth on these MIDI tracks. And then you also have audio tracks as well, but that's separate. But even if you wanted to export separate audio tracks, as long as your tracks are exploded, you're good to go. So we're going to hit File, Export, Audio Mixdown, Explode separate audio tracks. Now here's another thing too, before we do that. If you just export it as it is, you're just going to get 4 bars. Maybe you want that. Maybe you want to loop that. So actually, let's do that. Let's go ahead and do it that way. And of course, if you created a full-length song of over 100 bars or so, depending on how long you want your song to be, you can do that. So with that being said, I'm going File, Export, Audio Mixdown, 4 bars right there. We're going to explode the MIDI tracks. We're going to hit the Export. I already created a folder called Slow. We're going to create another folder called Slow 2. And it's important to keep in mind of where you export these stems to so that you can access them easily and they import easily as well. And then also what I want to do is I want to put in the BPM so that when I go to another DAW software, I know what the BPM is. So I'll just put like 78.43. All right, I hit save. Now what's happening at this step is that it's exporting track 1. It's going to export track 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way up to as many tracks as you have set up inside of the MIDI sequence on the MPC software. And once that's done, we're going to go to Studio 1.4 and we're going to import those tracks, and we're also going to make sure that our BPMs, or beats per minute, is set properly. So with a snap of the finger, okay, so now we're in Studio 1.4, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on Song, Import File, and I'm going to navigate to the folder where I've created that stem folder at. And now we have all these tracks right here, so I'm just going to highlight all of them. And this has been generated by the MPC software. We hit Open, and what you're going to see now is all of these tracks clicked in right there. So if I were to zoom out a little bit, we can see that they are all there. They are all present. If I scrunch this down, hit right there. Also, we're in the same tempo of 78.43. That's very important so that everything lines up properly. Now, there's one thing to keep in mind just for details. So you see there's a little tail right here. I left that tail on when I exported. So all I got to do is go to my cutting tool and I can highlight them all, but I'm kind of doing this the slower way. And what this will make sure happens is that it'll make sure it loops properly. So I can highlight all those clips. I'm going to hit delete to get rid of all that. Oops, I highlighted a little bit too much, or I didn't slice that right there. Highlight all of that, hit delete, and now if I hit play, we're going to hear pretty much the same mix that we heard before. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that I did not bounce it with effects, because typically what I'll do is I'll go back in here and add effects on my own on this side of the platform. So if I'm going to make this last more than 4 bars, remember we just did 4 bars, we can highlight it all, hit D, and we're duplicating, and now we're all the way up to a full 16 bars and so forth. And that's pretty much how you do it right there. If you have any other questions, feel free to DM me at Instagram at DillioT2K, or send me an email at DillioT2KFeedback@gmail.com. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, stay tuned for more remakes, tutorials, and original performances by yours truly, Dillio. I'll see y'all next time. Peace out. This live stream has been brought to you by Aquarium, chopped vocal sample packs by Dillio. Take a swim in the aquarium of sound. Quick facts, there's over 100 samples, 200 megabytes of sound, filter vocal loops, and vocal one-shots. And last thing but not least is that all these samples are 100% royalty-free for your projects. If you blow up using them, that's all you. There's some demos that you can check out at DillioT2K.com so you can hear it in action. And now let's get back to the live stream.